Welcome to episode 7, The Terror of Tri-Clops. Alright, so we open on Skeletor just kind of lounging around, just sort of bitching, letting off steam. He's hanging out with Beastman, and he is in the catacombs beneath Eternia, which is interesting, because remember before when I said Skeletor's homeless? Now it's confirmed, he lives in a sewer. But Snake Mountain has not been introduced yet. It will in these comics. We're going to, like all things that get introduced in He-Man, they're just going to say it, and we're going to pretend like it's been there the whole time. But up till now, he's still a hobo living in the sewers, just sitting on, I presume, a garbage chair like Spawn. Even though in the comic it's like this beautiful golden whatever. Anyway, so he's just sitting there just like, Beastman, why are we such fuck-ups? Every time we try to... The plans always work, and then He-Man kicks our ass. What's the point of it? How are we gonna get through the damn day? I have all these great plans, and they never work out. He's just kind of like a very believable two friends just sitting around pissing and moaning, even though Beastman's like kind of leaning next to him. It really sounds like just sort of like guys hanging out after work, like, oh man, can you believe He-Man today? Yeah, everything we try, man, you just can't get that guy up to speed. It's like one of those conversations. They're just sitting around having that conversation, and Beastman's like, hey, hang on though. Have you heard of this cool rude dude with attitude, Tri-Clops? He's like this bounty hunter guy, and Skeletor's like, yes, shut up! I totally thought of that too! Tri-Clops can beat He-Man! Tri-Clops the hunter! And he uses his magic sword and he makes like a portal to look through. And like on the other side is Tri-Clops, just for no established reason. He's just in there like beating up demons. They're just like, ah! Like kind of flinching back. They're these weird, just kind of like blue goblin-y looking dudes with big elf ears, like wearing bikinis and harnesses like everybody does in like 80s sci-fi. And Tri-Clops is just like, Aah! He's clearly fighting like 5 of them and just like, Aah! Just like hacking them up in the, you know, safe 80s kind of nonsense way. Safe kids 80s kind of nonsense way. And Skeletor's like, yeah, that guy can do it. I must have him, and I will. And he sticks his hand. It's this really cool shot of Skeletor's on one side, and then there's the portal, and you see him like sticking his arm through, right? And on the other side of the portal, there's just like a ghost hand coming out, and Tri-Clops is just over there trying to, you know, do his business, and the hand just like yoink, and just like yanks him through the portal. And so he just lands like in the room with Skeletor and Beastman. And of course Tri-Clops is like, what the hell? I was doing something. And Skeletor like just kind of ignores him. It's like, welcome to my lair, my humble home. And Tri-Clops is like, I was working. I have a job, you friggin' hobo. Send me back. He doesn't jump with him. He's just like, send me back. I need to finish that shit I was doing. Like, presumably Skeletor is just like, bounty hunter, what's that? I don't know. He kills people. That's the important thing. He forgot that there's like a back half of that job where you gotta collect payment and shit. But Tri-Clops is a professional, so he threatens Skeletor, and he's like, you gotta get me back there so I can finish the work I'm doing. And Skeletor's like, no! And he's like, alright, well, how about draw down then? Hi-ya! And Beastman comes in, and he's like, yeah! And like goes to jump on him, right? And he tries to sneak up on him, on Tri-Clops. So, this is a good moment to describe Tri-Clops so you can get an idea of what you're dealing with. Tri-Clops, let's just start with like almost everyone in He-Man. He's a tall, buff white guy. You can always tell who's important in Eternia. It's sort of like a JoJo situation. There's like a sea of regular people, and then like a 6-foot guy dressed like some kind of weird party clown sneeze, and you're like, I think that guy's going to be a part of the plot. So he's got bare legs, big tall boots, furry underwear, just like everybody else. He's got this weird like leather armor with like 3 belts going up the top, and they're all like green. He has a super regular, just like cartoon guy sword. Like if there was an army, like one of the guards in the background would be holding this exact sword. And then he's got this thing that is both like a helmet. It seems to be chin strapped to his head, and then it's like a cylinder, like a lazy Susan, but like on his face where his eyes would be. And you would imagine this space would be kind of a Geordie LaForge thing, right? Where it would be like, you know, vision all the way around, but it isn't. It has an eyeball and an eyeball and an eyeball for possibly the most inefficient form of seeing every direction possible. So that's his jam, is he can see everywhere. He doesn't actually use it that much. like ever. Like, it really doesn't come up that often that he can sort of see in every direction. It gets brought up a lot, but he mostly kind of just fights people. He's kind of, it's a little bit like Beastman, right? Beastman, you wouldn't know because it literally hasn't come up at all, can control beasts, as you can guess by him. He's a big gorilla with a whip. Actually, I don't even think he has his whip yet. He's a big gorilla, and he can control monsters, which is awesome. Never useful. He's almost always used as a bumbling henchman. Tri-Clops kind of has the same syndrome going on, where he's got this really cool power, but this comic is about showcasing it, so we actually get to see what he can do. So, surprise, surprise, Beastman goes to sneak up on a guy that can see every direction, and he's like, "Hoo-ka!" And he gives him the old judo throw, and he's like, "I have panoramic vision. Obviously, you brought me here. This is the thing I do. I have 3 eyes. Why would you think you could sneak up on me?" And so he's got him pinned against the wall. It's actually kind of funny. He's got him up against the wall like he's going to arrest him. And he's just like, "I'll kill you, stupid gorilla." And Skeletor's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, easy, guy. I know he sucks, but he's mine. You got to let him go." And he's like, "I'll kill this stupid monkey." "Oh, where are you?" And he says to him, he's got him against the wall, and he's like, "Oh, that magnificent pelt," which you'll remember, you know, his pelt is beautiful and flowing. He's like, "That magnificent pelt, it would look really good draped around my shoulders," which is a strange thing to say to another, like, you know, human being. That's some weird Ed Gein shit, because even though Beastman is a monster, he's still like a dude. So it's like a really crazy guy shit. Anyway, so Skeletor's like, "I can't have that." And he shoots the purple magic from his sword, just like, and like jacks him in the back. And so, of course, he's like, "Well, you attack, now I'm gonna kill you." This stupid fight goes on for a couple of pages. It's like a 10-page comic, and 3 of them are this little like hissy fit that's going on. Anyway, so he's like, "I'll kick your ass now," and Skeletor's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what if I paid you?" And he's like, "Pay me for what?" He's like, "What if I hired you to kill He-Man?" How you like that? And he's like, "He-Man? The man He-Man? Who they call the most powerful man in the universe, He-Man? I like the sound of that. People would really think I was a cool guy if I skinned him and wore his face." So, which, by the way, I believe this is the first, you know, like story version of He-Man being called the most powerful man in the universe. Tri-Clops says it. Go figure. He came in and coined it. He should have copyrighted it. He wouldn't have had to work for Skeletor. Anyway, so Tri-Clops' game, and they're like, "All right, so let's go beat up He-Man. We know where he is. I can just teleport you there, and you can just go take care of business." And he's like, "Yeah, no problem. I'm the best. Let's go kick his ass." And by the way, Skeletor like doesn't even really offer to like give him money. I don't know what money is on Eternia. I don't even know that like money exists on Eternia. I assume people just trade rare artifacts or whatever. People just like, "Hi, I need 4 loaves of bread," and they'll be like, "Yeah, that'll be a cursed sword and a magic hat and some disappearing boots." Like, "Yeah, sure," and you dump it out of your pocket. I'm trying to think of a time when I've seen a system of currency that he might even be rich with. But anyway, so Skeletor gives him like the classic bad guy promise, where he's like, "If you do it, then I'll take over the world and I'll hook you up," which is, I mean, who says yes to that? That's such a conditional, you know what I mean? It's like a classic bad guy move, and it never works out. In the next scene, He-Man, Ram-Man, Teela, and Battle Cat are just kind of laying around. It's actually a nice little scene. They're just sort of sitting there talking, and He-Man's like got a flower, and he's like, "Ah, it's a beautiful day today." And Teela's like, "Is this the world's greatest warrior speaking?" And he's like, "Oh, you." And Ram-Man's like, "Jesus, you guys are really making me uncomfortable." And Battle Cat talks. He can talk now. I don't know why, he just can talk now. And he's like, "Even He-Man, well, you know, when things are chill, he chills out," or whatever. I don't know. He's Battle Cat. Nothing he says matters. He's like, "In rare moments, even he prefers peace to war," which is like a weird thing to say. It like implies that He-Man is some kind of like warmonger, or like some kind of kill. I don't know. It just seems like an odd thing to say. I'm just gonna assume it was Battle Cat just kind of like crowbarring his 2 cents in, because he's an asshole. Whatever. Battle Cat, it doesn't matter. All right. So Battle Cat's sitting there, and then we see Skeletor holding like, I don't know, a bowl, like a plate of. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but he's just got like this weird bowl that isn't described, and he's like, "Battle Cat, you should leave." And then Battle Cat's like, I guess I'll leave. And he just gets up and he's like, I'm just gonna go into that cave for no reason. And everyone's like, yeah, sure, get out here. And he's like, okay, just leaving. Bye. Meow. And he walks into this dark cave, and he's a terrible cat. He can't see in the dark. He's just like, what's going on in here? But you know who can see in the dark is Tri-Clops. So it just like, meow, meow, meow. And Tri-Clops just steps out of the dark and just like, and just knocks him out. He just straight up like blazing saddles him. He's just like, roar! And he just takes him to the floor, and he's like, good. Shh, stupid cat. I'm assuming he doesn't skin cats because they're not people and he's a lunatic. So, back to He-Man and Teela are having this weird conversation where he's like, oh, it's beautiful, this, that. And she's like, oh, He-Man. He's like, and Ram-Man like picks up on it, and he's like, I'm gonna go for a walk. Oh, that was we ate a lot. He's doing like a really good like a family member who like the family dinner's over and he's looking for an excuse to leave, and he's like, I'm just so sleepy. I gotta get out of here. I'm just gonna take off, guys. I'll be out in the woods. Don't worry about it. And so he's being like, he's like kind of doing them a solid by leaving them alone for a second. And in the same frame that he's walking away, they're like talking shit behind his back. Like they're just like, yeah, I like him. Yeah, he's a little slow, but I like him. Yeah. I mean, he's good. He's good. But you know, yeah, but he's a good guy. He's a good guy. Yeah, it's just like a really weird conversation to have when someone's not around. So he walks into the woods, and Tri-Clops is just like hanging out by a tree, and Ram-Man's like, what? And he's just like, ah! And he's like, oh shit! And it's just like this perfect like surprise. Like, I don't know what the plan was, but you don't really need one when it comes to Ram-Man because he sucks. And Ram-Man headbutts things. That's it. Ram-Man headbutts. How do you trick Ram-Man? You make him headbutt something. How do you stop Ram-Man? You make him headbutt something. He is the human equivalent of like the worst boss fight in a video game, you know, where you see the big guy and there's like a pillar and you're like, kaboom, duh, and you're like bored before the fight even begins. He's that in character form. Tri-Clops is just like, hi, I know Skeletor, and Ram-Man's like, Arr! And just immediately just jumps at him and tries to headbutt him, and he slams into a tree, and again he's like, bam! He just knocks him out. Shh. And then, you know, he can't skin him because he's wearing the big metal helmet. You know, he's Ram-Man, he's got all the armor and stuff. So yeah, he just puts him down. Like, it was that easy to clean house. And then he's like, all right, well, I guess I got time to spare, but let's go beat up He-Man. And he walks just into the clearing. So Battle Cat's down, Ram-Man's down, taken care of in minutes with no effort, one punch apiece. And he walks up to this picnic that they're having, and he's just like, hi, I beat up your friends. You gotta get better dudes, because they're terrible. And he's like, it's like a fucking Dragon Ball Z thing. He's like, I'm here for you, Goku. And he's just like, I'm here to kill you, He-Man. And He-Man's like, we're having a picnic, dude. And he's like, yeah, but I'm here to kill you. Well, all right, I guess, you know, I don't know, whatever. He doesn't do that because he doesn't transform yet. But yeah, he's like, all right, let's fucking fight. And they both get up, and Teela's like, wait. I don't know why she does this. You'll remember Teela, you know, we gave up. Well, we're on comic 7, so 6 comics ago is when Teela stopped being dangerous to anybody. Battle Cat got beat up, sure. Battle Cat's a big tiger, but he's also a worthless coward, so he got beat up. It's easy to beat Ram-Man because he's dumb, but Teela is still like less effective than both of them. So I don't know what her game plan is, but she's just like, stay back, He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. You're literally like a borderline invincible and can fight anyone with your bare hands. If you're gonna fight him, you gotta go through me. And he starts running at him, and he just like, and he literally just backhands her to the ground. He's like, all right, anyway. And it's just, even the comics don't respect Teela. Like, the writer is consciously making her worthless. And then He-Man's like, what the hell? There was no reason. Oh, now I really got to kick your ass. And he goes for it, and he's like, if you killed everybody, I don't know why he says, like, he uses dispatched. He doesn't say killed, but he's like, if you dispatched everybody, and it will be clear from context later that he means dead, then now I really have to kill you, because this is ridiculous. You could have just walked over. There was no reason for all this extra effort. You could have walked here in the beginning. We could have fought like adults, but no. So she's on the ground, and he's like, hopefully you'll be more sport than she was. And he's like, of course. Yeah, so He-Man's like, if you killed everybody, I'm gonna kick your ass, dude. It's like a good moment. I can't even make a joke about it because I actually like the dialogue in here. They're in the middle of having this kind of like bang, bang, bang fight. He-Man's got his axe because this is still the cool era, and his shield, and Tri-Clops is like going to town on him, and he's just like fighting like sword in his fist, which must be just a jackhammer because he knocked out a giant cat and a dude in a helmet with one punch each. So I'm assuming he punches like Mike Tyson, but you know, who knows? That's not part of the story, so we don't get to know that. So they're having the fight, and He-Man's got this great line where he's like, if you killed them, then the goddess better have mercy on you, for I will not. And Tri-Clops is like, good, because I didn't ask for any. They're just like being cool 80s tough guys. And then the next shot, we sort of have like an assumed time gap because the text is like there's no more words, just like the clang of steel, and they're having this cool fight like up on top of the hill. Teela's still unconscious. I guess he knocked her out like completely cold, like she was that weak that his like back. Oh, again, Mike Tyson. So he just gave her the bong in the first round, and she's down. Didn't tap A and B fast enough. So she's down for the count. They're still having this fight, and He-Man's gaining the advantage because he has the power to lift up mountains. And Tri-Clops is a dude, so naturally he's gonna get ahead on things because He-Man doesn't lose fights like that. You can't fist fight him. You can't go hand to hand. You got to beat him with shenanigans because he's kind of dumb. Everybody who tries to go toe to toe with him, it never really works out. He-Man's starting to win, and they get up really close, and they're like, huh, and they're like, close up, and he's like, solar flare, and he just like I-beam lasers He-Man. He's like, oh shit, and He-Man just drops like his everything and falls on the ground, and Tri-Clops is like, yeah, got you now. He's got him on the ground. Yeah, and he's just like, bam, bam, bam. He's like, I'm gonna be the most powerful man in the universe. And He-Man's like blocking with his shield, and he's like, oh, actually wasn't that bright. All right. Pocket sand turns out not the way to beat He-Man, but he's the first one to try, so why not give it a shot? So he gets up and he's like, all right, I'm good now. And Tri-Clops is still fighting, and he just boom, and he just knocks him the hell out. Like maybe he could have done that from the beginning, but he like likes a fight. And there's another really great, like, cool line where Tri-Clops is like, I won't surrender, and He-Man's like, I didn't ask you to. Just really cool, like, kind of murderer dialogue. Because remember, he still thinks his friends are dead, right? So he's gonna kill Tri-Clops. Like, that's implicit in the story. He's gonna, turn his head the same way his eyes spin. So he's got him on the ground, and he's just like, her, and like, a text bubble approaches him from behind and is like, you did it, He-Man, good job. And he's like, what? And he turns around and everyone's like walking up like all, oh, you fought him, good job. And he's like, oh, you're all still alive, what the hell? And Tri-Clops is like, yeah, I was only paid to kill you, and I'm a professional. I don't know, it's messy business. He's like, oh, well, that's actually pretty cool. And then Skeletor is like looking through his little looking glass portal at what's happening, and he shows a new power. We've never seen this before. He's just like, lightning! And he shoots it through the portal, and everyone sees it. I'm guessing he's there, like, doing it, looking through the portal. And then, like, you're watching the fight happen, and then, but if the camera turned around, Skeletor would have just been there, like, yeah, get him. Why he didn't help up till now is anyone's guess, but yeah, he's just in there on his throne, like, yeah, eating popcorn, him and Beastman, like, oh, yeah, he's totally gonna win. Oh, it'll be even better because we didn't have to do anything. And so he shoots the thing, and He-Man's just like, because he's the good guy. And it turns out Tri-Clops is, I guess a decent dude. He's still like a hitman, but like he didn't, he could have killed everyone else. He didn't. To me, it's clear from the story that he was looking for the challenge more than like he wanted to kill somebody, even though he had his weird Ed Gein moment. But anyway, so He-Man blocks it, and they're like, oh, you're good, but oh, he's gone. And he's just like, they're like, well, I guess he was magic too. They have no explanation. The story doesn't say. The characters literally go, I guess he was magic. Oh, well. And then they just like, that's it. We're done with him. Like, nobody looks for. He literally could have been like behind a tree, or just like nearby, or like on the other side of them. Just like nobody tried to find him. But who cares? I guess the fight's over, and we're the good guys. We're all four together, and I beat him alone, so what the hell? It's not like he's gonna come back and do it again. And there's no prisons in Eternia that we've ever seen, so why not let him go if you're not gonna kill him? So the good guys, of course, are like, I bet that's not the last we've seen of him. And they're like, I'll bet it isn't. And then Skeletor has this strange monologue that ends the comic, and he's like, someday I'll find a henchman that can beat that nefarious He-Man. Because God knows I'm not going to do it. I got a throne now. I'm not going anywhere. Beastman, put on HBO. And so they're just That's just it. I'm guessing he's in a slump or something, because like we see Skeletor fight He-Man all the time, but I'm guessing right now he's just made his peace with the fact that they can't win in a fist fight. Like we kind of saw that in the last 2 comics, that Skeletor is like sort of hitting this cowardly hump where he won't like directly fight He-Man anymore like he did back in the day. Anyway, so that's the end of it. We don't know what happened to Tri-Clops, even though, spoiler alert, we'll see him later just like, hi, I'm Tri-Clops, like with no special, he won't be doing anything interesting. He'll show up from here on out as just like a bumbling henchman of Skeletor. But that was his introduction comic, so we got to see everything that's cool about him. And, you know, I love that they presented him as this, like, as a killer, as like a hitman. They showed him to be this kind of, like, sort of professional... He's in that vein of, like, stuff you would see more and more in the 80s and 90s, where they're this sort of anti-villain kind of good guy, bad guy, because he was on this mission, but, like, he's kind of like an anime bad guy where it's really more about proving himself than anything. He's just a strange character in He-Man. You know, this is a fairly black hat, white hat series for the most part, but every once in a while we get a little bit of this cool kind of gray situation, and it makes the characters really memorable, and it's just something I've liked Tri-Clops ever since I read this comic, however many years ago when I read it for the first time. I was like, man, he's actually a lot more interesting than I gave him credit for. So it sort of stuck with me, and now when I see stuff with Tri-Clops in it, it really just set me up for disappointment, because he was so cool in this that I want him to be awesome in the future. Yeah, that's going to be some bad luck. I want him to be awesome in the future, but it's going to be kind of hit and miss. That was the Terror of Tri-Clops. In the same naming theme, join us next time for The Menace of Trapjaw, which will be the first appearance of my boy Trapjaw. So I'm really excited for that. Till next time, friends.